I have a little example test here. Ignore this error message, but this is making a request to the /endpoint and then just asserting that it returns a 200. And if I run this test, we'll see that it will pass and return fine, but it's taken 2 seconds to run. Now the reason for that is that in here, in the root, I've got a sleep. And of course you wouldn't just randomly put sleeps into your application in reality, but sometimes you might need to, even if just as a workaround for something. For example, you need to run a process and just wait a second until after that process has finished running and doing its thing in the background, and then continue on. It's not something you'd like to do, and ideally you'd use queues or something else to be able to handle that. But sometimes you end up with this kind of code. So how can we deal with this and make sure that our tests aren't running slowly just because of this? Well, over here, we're going to replace this sleep call and never use the native PHP sleep function. Instead, we're going to use the sleep facade and say, this should sleep for 2 seconds. And when we do that and run the test, we should see that behaves exactly the same way. It's taken over 2 seconds to run. But now in our tests, wherever we want to, we can use that same sleep facade and call the fake function on it. And if we call the fake function, what that's going to do is take any calls to the sleep facade in our actual application and basically make it seem like it was never there. So I run the test again, and it didn't take 2 seconds this time. It ran basically immediately. And that's what we wanted. Now, if we really wanted, we can do additional things on that after the fact. So we could say we expect that we've slept at least one time through the application. I run that and it's going to pass as well. If I expect that there's been 0 sleeps throughout the application's runtime, I run that and it's going to fail. So Sleep Helper is a really helpful thing if you know that you've got a part of your codebase that has to run some kind of sleep. If we really wanted to, I believe there's also an assert never slept, so you can ensure that your application has never slept. It's just a shorthand for assert sleep times 0. But yeah, that can be really helpful. So instead of putting this inside every single test function, we're going to come back to our main test case. And before each test that we call, we are going to make sure that we call sleep fake to make sure that we're never sleeping in our tests and our tests are taking way too long.